the decision, and the first regrets. At 81, I thought I had life figured out. I'd raised my family, built a home filled with memories, and learned to accept the aches and quiet moments that come with age. But one decision still haunts me: the day I agreed to move into a nursing home. At the time, it sounded practical. My children insisted it was the best thing for everyone. "You'll be safe there," they said. "You'll have people to talk to, help when you need it, and no more worries about the house." I wanted to believe them. Deep down, I thought maybe they were right. Maybe it was time to rest and let others take care of me. But the moment I rolled my suitcase through those bright, sterile halls, something in me shifted. I told myself it was only temporary, that I'd give it a chance. I didn't realize I was walking into a chapter of my life I could never truly walk back out of. Regret 1. Losing my freedom without realizing it. What surprised me most wasn't the building itself. It was the feeling of being managed. At home, my days were mine. I woke up when the sun peeked through the curtains, made my own tea, and wandered through the garden barefoot just because I could. In the nursing home, every hour already had a plan, and none of it was mine. Breakfast at 7:30, whether you're hungry or not. Medication at 9, activities at 10. Lights out at 9 p.m., even if you're wide awake. At first, I tried to adjust. I told myself it was for my own good. But slowly, I started to feel like a guest in someone else's life. One morning, I reached for my favorite sweater and realized it wasn't there. Someone had taken it to the laundry without asking. That tiny moment, standing in a room that didn't smell like home, looking for something that wasn't where I left it, hit harder than I expected. I felt like I'd handed over more than my sweater. I'd handed over control. Freedom, I learned, doesn't disappear all at once. It fades quietly. One scheduled meal, one supervised walk, one "you can't do that alone" at a time. If you're thinking about a nursing home for yourself or a loved one, ask this question: are you ready to live by someone else's rules every single day? Because once that independence slips away, getting it back is harder than you can imagine. Regret 2. Realizing how easy it is to be forgotten. When I first moved in, the visits came often. My daughter would bring flowers, my grandson would tell me about school, and for a while, I felt connected. The loneliness hadn't set in yet. But as the months passed, those visits slowly faded. "I'll come next weekend," they'd say. "Just busy this week." And I understood. Life doesn't stop for anyone, but understanding doesn't make the silence easier. I began to recognize a certain look in the eyes of other residents, the kind that stares at the door, waiting for someone who never shows up. You tell yourself you're fine, that you don't want to bother anyone, but deep down, you ache for a familiar face. I remember sitting by the window one Sunday, watching cars pull in for family visits. Each time the door opened, I hoped it would be my family, but it wasn't. My heart learned to stop expecting. That's how the forgetting begins, not because people stop loving you, but because they start believing you're okay without them. The truth is, inside these walls, time moves differently. The world outside keeps rushing forward, while ours slows to a crawl. Days blend together, and before long, it feels like you've been tucked away in a corner of life that everyone else forgot existed. If you're helping an aging parent or grandparent make this decision, please, don't assume that care means connection. The nurses may keep them fed and safe, but what they'll miss most isn't medical attention. It's you, your voice, your presence. Because no matter how kind the staff are, no one replaces the people you love. Looking back now, I wish I'd understood that comfort isn't the same as connection, and safety isn't the same as freedom. Those first few weeks in the nursing home taught me that life's biggest losses don't come from accidents or illness. They come quietly. Through small compromises we convince ourselves are for the best. So if you're standing where I once stood, thinking about moving into a nursing home or helping someone you love decide, pause for a moment. Ask yourself what truly matters. Being safe or still being you? Because once you trade your independence for convenience, you'll realize how much of life's meaning was hidden in the ordinary choices you once took for granted. Losing purpose and health. When I first arrived at the nursing home, I thought I was simply changing my address, trading an empty, quiet house for a place where people could look after me. But I was wrong. I didn't just change where I lived, I changed how I lived. And that difference, I would come to learn, affects everything. Regret 3. Forgetting why I woke up in the morning. At home, my days had rhythm. I'd wake up early, make my bed, water the plants, and sit by the window with my morning tea. Those weren't just habits, they were reasons to start the day. But once I moved into the nursing home, that rhythm disappeared. Breakfast was prepared by someone else. My bed was made for me. The plants that had lined my windowsill were left behind. And without realizing it, I stopped doing. At first, it felt like a small luxury, a life of rest after so many years of working and worrying. But after a while, the silence grew heavy. There was no need to rush anywhere, no reason to check the clock, no task waiting to be done. The staff encouraged us to join group activities, bingo, puzzles, light exercise, but it wasn't the same. Those weren't my routines, they were placeholders for purpose. I remember meeting a woman named Helen. She used to be a teacher, full of energy and warmth. In her first week, she helped other residents write letters and read stories out loud. But a few months later, she stopped. "What's the point?" she said one afternoon, folding her hands on her lap. "No one listens anymore." No, that broke me, because I understood. When your life becomes something that's managed instead of lived, your spark begins to fade. And when your spark fades, so does your reason to keep going. Purpose isn't just about productivity. It's about belonging, about having something or someone that still needs you. If you lose that, you lose a piece of yourself that no medicine or therapy can replace. So if you're thinking about moving into a nursing home, ask yourself this: what will give your days meaning once the busyness is gone? Because without something to care about, even the safest life can feel empty. Regret 4. My health faded faster than I expected. Before I moved here, I thought I was doing pretty well for my age. My knees hurt sometimes, and I wasn't as steady as I used to be, but I could still move around on my own. I did my own laundry, cooked my meals, and kept myself busy around the house. But after a few months in the nursing home, I noticed changes. Small at first, then startling. My legs felt weaker. My balance wasn't the same. Even standing up from a chair started to feel like a challenge. The strange thing is, nothing happened to me. No illness, no injury. I just stopped moving. Everything here is designed to make life easier. Meals delivered, laundry done, medications brought to your door. You don't even need to walk far to get what you need. And while that sounds convenient, it quietly teaches your body to stop trying. I used to take pride in my independence. Now, I found myself pressing a button for help more often than I wanted to admit. "Don't strain yourself," the nurses would say kindly. But the truth is, the less you strain, the less you can. There was a man here named Robert. He was 85, still strong when he arrived, used to walk laps around the building every morning. But as winter came, he stayed indoors more. The walks stopped. Soon, he needed a walker. and later, a wheelchair. One day, he told me, "I feel like my body retired before I did." I never forgot that line. Our bodies are built to move. When we stop using them, we start losing them. The muscles weaken, the bones stiffen, and suddenly, the smallest things become impossible. And it's not just physical. When your body slows down, your mind does too. You start thinking less about tomorrow and more about how long until dinner. If I could go back, I'd fight harder to stay active, even when I didn't feel like it. I'd walk, stretch, carry my own laundry, anything to keep my body awake. Because once you slow down, it's a long climb back. Looking back, these 2 regrets taught me something I wish everyone understood before it's too late. It's not comfort that keeps us alive. It's effort. It's having something to do, somewhere to go, and a reason to get up each morning. A nursing home can give you care, but not purpose. It can give you rest, but not vitality. Those have to come from within you, or they fade quietly until you forget what they felt like. So if you're planning this next stage of life, don't just ask what will keep you safe. Ask what will keep you living. Dignity, dependence, and hard truths. By the time I reached my 2nd year in the nursing home, I had accepted many things: the routines, the quiet, even the loneliness. What I hadn't learned to accept was how much of me I had lost along the way. People think aging means losing your strength, your hearing, or your memory. But what it really takes, slowly, silently, is your dignity. Regret 5. The loss of privacy and dignity. At home, I had my own space. I could close a door, sit in silence, or hum to myself without worrying who might hear. I could make mistakes, spill something, or take as long as I wanted to get dressed, and no one would know. But here, privacy is a rare luxury. There's always someone knocking, someone checking, someone watching. It's not out of cruelty, it's out of care. But when every act of living requires permission, even kindness begins to feel like control. I still remember the first time a nurse helped me bathe. She was gentle, respectful, and kind, but I felt stripped bare in more ways than one. It wasn't about modesty. It was about ownership of my own body. I wanted to say, "Please, let me do this myself." But deep down, I knew I couldn't anymore. That realization burned deeper than I expected. And then there were the small things. The roommate who snored loudly at night. The staff who walked in without waiting for an answer. The shared bathrooms where nothing ever felt quite private. You tell yourself it's fine, that you're used to it. But in truth, every time you lose a little control, you lose a little dignity, too. It's not that the people here are unkind. Most are good, hard-working souls. But they move fast. They have schedules, rounds, and dozens of residents to care for. In that system, you stop being you. You become Room 12, Bed B, or the lady who needs her pills at 8. You start to disappear behind the clipboard. If you're thinking about a nursing home, I won't tell you not to go. But I'll tell you this. Dignity doesn't live in buildings. It lives in choice. And once you give that up, you'll realize how sacred even the smallest decisions truly were. Regret 6. Realizing it's harder to leave than you think. When I first moved in, I told my children it would be temporary. Just until I feel stronger, I said. Just for a few months. But months became seasons. Seasons became years. And leaving, the thing that once felt so simple, started to feel impossible. Part of it was physical. After so long being taken care of, I wasn't as capable as before. I'd grown used to meals appearing on schedule, help arriving with a button press, medicine waiting by the bed. Comfort had turned into dependence. Another part was emotional. My home, the one filled with photos, laughter, and the smell of morning tea, wasn't really mine anymore. My daughter had rented it out. Some of my belongings had been given away. My old life had quietly moved on without me. And then there was fear, that quiet voice whispering, "What if you fall? What if no one's there to help?" The same fear that had once pushed me into the nursing home now kept me from leaving it. I met a man named Samuel who had the same dream, to go back home, even if just for a few weeks. He talked about it often. But when his son came to visit and offered to help him move back, Samuel hesitated. "What if I can't manage?" he said softly. "What if I've forgotten how to live alone?" That moment stayed with me, because it's the truth most people never talk about. Once you adapt to being cared for, you start to lose the belief that you can care for yourself. If you're thinking of moving into a nursing home, remember this. It's much easier to move in than to move out. The world outside doesn't wait. Homes change, people adjust, and before you know it, the place you left behind stops feeling like it's yours to return to. Final reflections. The lesson I wish I'd learned sooner. I don't regret growing old. That's a gift denied to many. But I do regret how quickly I accepted the idea that I needed to give up control of my life for the sake of convenience and safety. The truth is, there were other options. In-home caregivers, neighbors willing to check in, community programs designed to help seniors stay independent. I just didn't know about them then. Or maybe I was too afraid to try. If I could go back, I would have fought harder to stay home. Not because I was stubborn, but because home isn't just a place. It's where your life still belongs to you. For anyone standing at that crossroads right now, whether for yourself or someone you love, take time to think beyond what's easiest. Ask the hard questions. Visit the places. Talk to the people who've lived it. Because once you hand your life over to a system, even a caring one, you might find it's much harder to take it back. So, if there's still a chance to hold on to your independence, to your routines, and to your sense of self, hold on with both hands. Because one day, you'll realize those were never small things. They were everything. If this story made you think, don't let it fade. Share it with someone who's considering this choice. A parent, a friend, or even yourself. Sometimes, the best care we can offer isn't about comfort or safety. It's about helping someone keep the parts of life that make them feel alive. The content on Healing Age is for educational and emotional awareness only and should not replace professional medical or caregiving advice. Always consult qualified professionals for guidance tailored to your situation.